Hello, this is Dr. Maddy Roth with Roth Consulting Group. Today we're going to talk about leveraging technology to fill your schedule. So when I first opened our practice, Inspire Pelvic Therapy, I took a close look at what other businesses similar to mine were doing to fill their schedules. Of course, you can find out a lot on social media. I saw a lot of practices were doing workshops and marketing to doctors and doing networking meetings. So I emulated that. When I first opened, I would do all of those different types of in-person marketing, and I actually hated it. I am not really into the whole dating scene, which is kind of what it felt like. You know, you'd go into a doctor office, first time maybe bring your cards and your brochures, and the front desk is like, hey, like, what's your name? What's your date of birth? What's your insurance? And you're like, actually, no, like, I'm a business owner and like, I want to connect with you guys. And it's really awkward, super awkward. It's kind of like approaching someone and being like, hey, like, can I have your number? That was tricky. I did find some ways to get around that awkwardness. One of the things we actually do for getting doctor referrals is we'll find these doctors on Facebook, friend them, message them, and then connect more on a personal level, setting up a one-on-one coffee date or things of that nature, or offering a free evaluation, especially if it's maybe a postpartum mom. We have a midwife in the area that's going to come see us at our practice in Troy and have a free postpartum eval and kind of check out the scene. And some of our best doctor referrals have come from that. Actually, all of our doctor referrals that we get come from Facebook Messenger at the very start. So I guess I was seeing how other businesses were getting referrals through the workshops, through the doctor offices, and those traditional ways just did not work for my practice. I was like, I cannot do this. Like going into these offices and being like, can I speak to the office manager? No. Okay, is there a doctor I can talk to? No, we don't do that around here. It just was so hard, and that's fine. Like I can get those doors slammed in my face, but it was just such a waste of time. So I don't even know how I started the Facebook Messenger thing, but I kind of just found that out on my own. I'm like, I am just going to friend all these doctors in the area and start messaging them. And that has worked great. I don't hear of a lot of other businesses doing that. So I'm always trying to get the word out like, guys, we got to get around the front desk here and use social media to our advantage. What changed for me was like, okay, these are normal people. Like, where are normal people hanging out? They're on social media. And if I'm going to approach a chiropractor or a lactation consultant, I have no problem messaging them on Facebook. Like, why stop there just because we feel like doctors are a more formal type of scenario? That was one little tweak I made that I hadn't heard of anyone else doing in the pelvic health business space. Another thing, I just was like, okay, we can get some doctor referrals, but for our Northern Michigan location, there's 3 OB offices in town. One of them serves mainly Medicaid beneficiaries, and we don't accept Medicaid currently at our office. So a lot of those patients are unable to come to our clinic, first of all. So that's just not a great office. The other office went out of business. Like the businesses in my area are really struggling, especially if they have to pay for hospital rights, if they're like a privately owned OB practice. And so that leaves one other office. That other office has just outright said, no, we are not referring to you if you don't take insurance. Like, we don't think that's right. So where does that leave us, especially the rural business owners? There's 3 options for OB offices. If they're all not good candidates, the one office, the one that went out of business, actually was the one that was referring to us, but goodbye to those referrals. Where does that leave us as rural practice owners? Now, our Southern Michigan location, it's urban. There's 15 OB offices within a half-hour drive of the clinic. So there you go. I mean, if one goes out of business, if 5 offices say, hey, we're not doing this, like, no, we're not referring to a cash pay clinic. Okay, well, there's still 10, 8 other clinics that we can go after. There's options galore, but I just think I get frustrated that the 2 options right now that people think they need to use for finding patients is workshops and doctor referrals, because that really is not the case. And there's some unique ways to go about doing those things, but that is not the only way. And I think it's really discouraging for rural practice owners to be like, I hit up the offices in town. Some of them are referring, cool, but I can't scale because there's just not enough people referring to me. And if that's all I'm banking on is referrals, it's just hard. It's hard to wait for other people for your business to grow. Like, just that being dependent on someone referring to you. So I like to take things a little bit into my own hands. And everyone knows I'm obsessed with online marketing. And that has been my way of just saying, all right, I'm not going to wait around. Like, there's 3 OB offices. None of them are good candidates as potential referral sources for our northern clinic. I'm just going all in direct patient marketing. And the best way that we have found is doing online marketing. And then for our Southern Michigan location, we are doing a little bit of a mixture. Again, a lot of the online marketing and the doctor referrals actually stem originally from social media and then turn into a relationship from there. So I really think some of the older school stuff where you're pounding the pavement, going into these offices, doing workshops, grinding it out, there are other ways to get patients. So I was doing business coaching at one point, really good coach, kind of just the same thing, like, okay, we'll do another workshop, hit up another office. And I was just like, I'm so burnt out. Like, I am not going to step foot in another office. Like, this is just so frustrating. So what I started to do was look outside the pelvic health business space and see what are other successful businesses doing to get clients. And because I love online, I kind of was drawn to these online businesses and seeing, wow, what are they doing to get more patients or more clients? And why are we not doing this? It's just crazy to me that I don't know if we're just behind the times or what the deal is, but we do waste a lot of time with in-person stuff where we can market to so many more people if we take it online and use technology to help us market. So some of the things I was seeing these online coaches doing for getting clients was, of course, Facebook ads, which I am a huge fan of. And another thing they were using was actually the system called Go High Level. And all of my current coaching clients right now, they weren't using Go High Level. And no, Go High Level is not sponsoring this. Go High Level is amazing. So there's systems similar to that, but that's the system we use. And it's a way to use technology to help you market to the masses and nurture patient relationships in a really smart way. So a lot of practices that I talk to, they're manually on their phone, like click, click, text, like typing, like, can you leave me a Google review? Okay, that is such a waste of time to like manually send a text. I understand your first few weeks of business if like you don't want to pay for it's called a CRM, a client relationship management software. But if you have a few patients or more, like that is a way you can really market and build relationships with the masses and continue to stay in touch with people without hiring a team of 20 people to do this. So basically, this is your cheapest admin you could ever have. We have in-person admins, of course, to greet patients, talk on the phone, but our CRM, Go High Level, is doing the legwork. I think we really need to leverage the technology to help build our schedules. Not only Facebook ads, that's another podcast. I could go on and on about that, but even softwares like Go High Level. All of these online business coaches, almost all of them you talk to, they're using Go High Level. So why are PT businesses just so behind? Why are we manually sending text reminders to patients? Why are we manually sending out a reactivation email to everyone all at once and hitting all the same people, even if they're in a different part of the lifespan of a patient care? So you might not know at all what I'm talking about. This is such a game changer. Go High Level has several different features, but basically it's an all-in-one software. And no, they are not sponsoring this message. Like, I am just obsessed with this system because I'm like, what the heck? What was I doing prior to this? Okay, so it's an all-in-one software. So if a patient texts you, if they DM you on Facebook, Instagram, it's going to all show up in messages. If they call your clinic, you see that a call came in. So when your admins are working, they can see it's all organized. They're not on Instagram like, okay, I got to follow up with this DM. Okay, now I'm going to switch to Facebook. Okay, did anyone DM us? And now I'm going to switch. Like, that takes time and it takes a lot of tracking. But in Go High Level, you just have all your contacts, like anyone that's ever messaged you, all the people, they're in there. It's like an address library. You have a messenger box where all the messages, and it's all intermixed. So if they DM you on Facebook and then you respond, but then they text your clinic, like, you're still following what's going on. And people feel important because you're able to keep track and really up on what is going on and get back to people really quickly. Another feature that it has is email and text marketing campaigns, which I know there are a lot of systems that can do this. I like Go High Level systems. So for example, when we book a patient, we put them in our little address library, name, phone, email. We actually put their date of birth in there too. I'll tell you why in a minute. And then we put a little tag. We put booked. And then that patient that's booked, automatically, that's all the admin has to do. But now the system is working behind the scenes. This is like our virtual admin. She is sending, but it's actually Go High Level, sending emails like, hey, look at these Google reviews. Fire up for this appointment. And these patients, if we forget to put the book tag and they're not getting these fire up messages, they're not as fired up when they come in. They're not as primed. They're not as willing to trust us and to purchase a plan of care package. And so these emails are really key. Another thing you can do is, say, a reactivation campaign. I know a lot of people are, okay, I need patients. Like, it's the summer, it's moving slow. Like, what are we gonna do? Let's send an email to all of the patients. Okay, that might work. You might get a patient out of that. But if you can make a whole campaign with that and even target it to different people that are in the lifespan of their patient care. So what we've actually done in our Go High Level, we have a couple different systems that track where the patient is in their lifespan of the patient care experience. So we have a call log in there. Again, this is a platform that, like, your admins only need to be on here. They don't need to be jumping over to your Excel sheet, call log, and then jumping on Facebook and messaging someone back. It's all in this software. And so we have our call log in there, contact cards in our call log. Once a patient is contacted once, we drag and drop them to contacted once. Once we've contacted them twice, we drag and drop them over into there. Once we book them, we add that book tagged, and boom, they're actually now in our therapist's pipeline, it's called. So we have 6 therapists. It's hard to, at that point, as you scale, it's hard to keep track of all the patients. At first, you can kind of manually be like, who's this Sally girl? Oh yeah, okay, yeah, she did, I think, 3 visits. I think, like, she probably would book again in the future. Maybe I should send a reactivation campaign to her. I don't know. But the software keeps track for you. So we might put a patient after they book, they're in the booked category, and then they're under Lexi's pipeline. That's my OT. Okay, they booked an eval with Lexi. Okay, this patient only did the eval and they didn't convert after the eval. So now they're in that category. Our admin slides that patient over just so we can keep track of where the patient is in their lifespan of our care. And then we can use marketing campaigns to target these different types of people. It's not just a mass email reactivation to every single person in our library. No, we can target it. Okay, so we just did a scholarship campaign and we hit everyone in all the therapist categories that was under eval, no conversion. And we offered a scholarship to 5 people for discounted visits, and we only sent that email to people in those categories. And we reactivated, we picked our 5 and reactivated them. It's just nice to be able to specifically target different people with your emails. And the emails are more intentional, and you can reactivate different people, and you can choose who's going to be reactivated and when. And when something's more specific, like, okay, these people didn't book the first time, they're probably not going to book if I just reactivate them through a traditional reactivation campaign where they're not getting some sort of discount. So I need leads. Let's hit all these people with this discount offer because we think they're going to do it. But our clients that have already paid us full price and are loving our service, I don't really want to give them that scholarship campaign because they haven't indicated that they need it, and we're going to do a different campaign with them. Another thing we do when a patient is discharged, they get a little discharge tag. So instead of that little booked tag and they get those little email series, now they're in a discharge series. So instead of like, oh crap, I should text Sally and like see how she's doing. Like it's been a few months. No, we can't keep track of all that. Like we need to use technology to do that for us. So once someone is discharged, they're going to get put in this series of texts and emails, and every 45 days they get a text. Hey, been thinking about you. How's it going? We're not manually sending that text. That's an automated text, but it feels very friendly and people respond and they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for thinking of me. Like I was just thinking of like booking a tune-up appointment with you guys. This is how it's going. A lot of people respond. Once they respond, we manually like send a specially unique response to that. But we're really just trying to keep the conversation going with that reactivation discharge series. So patients are getting emails and texts every so often. And even in that series, after about 4 months, they automatically get a text. Hey, we just got a cancellation for the day. Do you need to come in for a tune-up? Things like that. And that's a way to keep your schedule really full, and it markets for you. Basically, it's pulling past patients and you're not doing hardly any extra work other than your admin has to type that little discharge tag once that patient is discharged, so they're in that email series. So Go High Level uses, you can do text automations. Post workshop, for example, we were struggling with workshop conversions at first. What we would originally do was we get everyone's name, email, phone, and we would reach out with an email with like a free resource after, say, like, I hope you book an appointment. Yeah, no. People are not going to book from that unless they're really, 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 really interested. So now what we do, and our conversion is so much better now that we do this, because people probably aren't going to sign up for therapy at the workshop. They might. Sometimes people do that, but you send an email and a text, and in the text you can say, hey, we're giving you a discounted evaluation for coming to the workshop. Text yes to claim this. And it's just so easy. We don't want to make it complicated at all. All the person has to do is text yes, and then you work out with them, text them back about what time. But this is all automated. They get you put the workshop little tag, and then they get the email, and then they get a text saying that text yes. And then 2 days later, they get another text. Hey, hope you saw our last text. would you like to book an evaluation? You get this discounted rate. Text us yes if you want to claim this. And just by doing that, like having these automated texts, one, it takes the legwork out for me and my admins, but also we're getting a lot more people booking then from these workshops. So that's something I have learned from the online coaching space and what other big businesses are doing and how they're leveraging technology to grow and scale faster. Another thing, a hot topic I've been hearing more and more, and I talk about it with some of my teacher friends, is the concept of AI. And kind of the argument is, okay, we've got students. Should we have them write a paper just, manually, like in the good old days? Should we have them write papers and try to figure out who's using AI to write their papers and give them an F, fail them if they used AI to help write their paper, put it through like an AI finder? And I say no. I think we really need to learn how to leverage technology, and it's a learned skill. I mean, it takes time and a higher order of thinking to figure out how to put a, say, into Chat GPT, how can I put the right prompts in to write a blog for our clinic? All right, now you're taking blogs out of the therapist's to-do list, and the admin is putting a prompt in and writing you a whole blog for your website and boosting your SEO. But even that takes a skill and it takes practice. What kind of prompts do I need to put in here? Do I need to say, keep the blog to under 200 words, say you like shorter blogs? And of course you need to, check if the information is correct that it's spitting out. Usually it is, but it's good to have your therapist check that kind of thing. But using technology in that way, that can save you hours if you're manually writing emails or blog posts or even social media captions. You can use AI. It's not a crime to use technology and really leverage it to save you time so you have more time to market to even more people. Some of the time too, like I said, it takes a higher order of thinking. What prompts do I put in? This came out not exactly how I like it. Now, can I tell AI how to adjust this to make it sound more like me or more accurate or in some different ways? So that's why I think as we're going along, it's really important to stay on top of technology, because if we're not, we're really getting outperformed by these young people that do know how to use it and know how to leverage it and have so much more time to grow faster and faster and faster. So my message today, I think it's so important as we are growing to leverage technology to help fill our schedules, and not only through Facebook ads, but also through different email, text, marketing campaigns that we can really easily do through a click of a button. I really think it can be so frustrating to do the traditional in-person marketing. Not only that, but it takes a lot of time and nurturing. And I think a lot of humans these days feel a little uncomfortable with in-person interactions. So it is really difficult. It's expensive. And I just urge you to use technology to your advantage. One more little story. When I first was starting off, I really did not want to get an EMR. I did not want to have any sort of software. And then I actually measured what was going on. I was manually sending text reminders. I sent a text reminder to someone and I accidentally sent the wrong time. So I accidentally double booked or had two people come in at the same exact time. And basically the girl was upset. She ended up never coming back for visits. I was very, very apologetic, but she's like, I was like, I could see you right after this patient. I'm so sorry. And she was like, I drove 30 minutes to get here. My baby is hungry. I need to breastfeed him before I go. Like, I am not going to stay for an hour. And then I offered, like, okay, like your next visit, like it's on the house, it's free. And she's just like, no, like, you know what? I don't know. So she just fizzled out and fell off my schedule. And I thought, like, oh, at that time I was charging $150 for a session. I was like, okay, I lost the $150 I was going to get that day, and I lost her as a long-term client. She was a really good client. It just like rubbed her wrong. It just was a disorganized situation, and I just thought, man, what am I doing? Like, okay, say it is expensive to get an EMR, but if it's sending out your text reminders for you, you're going to save money actually on people showing up to their appointments and them going out to the right times and you not messing that up. Same with the CRM, the Go High Level that we use. The amount of people we reactivate through specific marketing campaigns, it pays for itself over and over and over again. And when patients are booked for an evaluation, when they get those fire up emails, they are hot when they come in. They're excited. They've seen all our reviews, they've seen video testimonials, and they're like, okay, this is the place. Let's do this thing. And just to have those emails go out so patients are more excited, they trust us, and they're ready to purchase a plan of care from us, it is so worth it. So we have to also weigh the pros of purchasing an EMR and CRM or doing Facebook ads and see what the actual return is on it. And it is exponential, especially leveraging this technology, and you can market to the masses with it. I know this episode might have been a little bit like, what is this Go High Level? But I think it's important to introduce to you guys and just form some different ideas that the workshops and the doctor marketing is not the only way to get patients. So don't fear, especially if you're in a rural area and you've been pounding the pavement and it's still slow as molasses. Take heart. This is not the only way, and we got to get creative and sometimes just try things. And technology can be one of those ways to get a very big, full, profitable practice. Thanks for tuning in today. Have a good one.